Russia's president is heading to North Korea. On his way, Vladimir Putin has stopped off in Russia's far eastern city of Yakutsk. After visiting the region's technology and defense sector, he's planning to fly to North Korea's capital, Pyongyang, for talks with ruler Kim Jong-un. The two are expected to sign an official strategic partnership. Earlier, Putin praised North Korea for its support of his war in Ukraine. Earlier, I spoke about all this with James Chater and Grzegorz Szymanowski, DW's correspondents for East Asia and Russia. I began by asking Grzegorz what intentions Putin has with his visit to North Korea.
Well, Terry, for Vladimir Putin, the main thing on his agenda these days is, of course, the war in Ukraine. And this is also the reason why he is coming back to North Korea. He's coming back, but it's his first visit in 24 years. He's been there only once as Russian leader back in the year 2000. As you've mentioned before, he has praised the support that Russia receives from North Korea. He said that Russia highly appreciates North Korea's support for the Russian special military operation in Ukraine, of course, his words for the war in Ukraine. So while some tend to ridicule this relationship, North Korea really has what Vladimir Putin and Russia need at this point, which is ammunition, particularly artillery ammunition, for the war effort in Ukraine. The US and South Korea have warned that North Korean arms exports to Russia are on the rise ever since Kim Jong-un visited Russia back in September last year. So Putin is coming to North Korea with a big delegation, a range of officials, including deputy prime ministers, including the defense minister, heads of Russian space agency, of Russian railways. So the support for the Russian war effort will be the main point on Vladimir Putin's agenda.
James, in Taipei, what is North Korea's ruler, Kim Jong-un, hoping to get out of this meeting?
Well, of course, one of the really critical things that Kim Jong-un is going to be looking for is simply legitimacy. Remember, it's a fairly rare occurrence for a foreign leader to visit North Korea and for Kim Jong-un to be able to receive an international leader on the scale of Vladimir Putin in Pyongyang. So the symbolic significance of that is something to be noted. Of course, the military and technological hardware is going to be front and center of the concerns for Kim Jong-un. As we understand, US and South Korean officials have been talking about this over recent months, that what Kim Jong-un is going to be really looking for, as we believe, in exchange for those weapons that we believe he is sending to Russia, is support with its, for example, spy satellite program and for its weapons program in contravention of UN resolutions. But of course, the even broader context to all of this is that that Russia and North Korea have this shared geopolitical belief that the US, albeit in different contexts, is trying to hem in their countries, to threaten their countries. And that's what we really see with this backdrop of worsening ties between the two Koreas, between North and South Korea, which is, again, the North Korea believing that the US is trying to bring its allies together in the Indo-Pacific to threaten North Korea's security. And we've seen, even in the hours leading up to this arrival of Putin, that there's been an exchange of fire across the demilitarized zone between the two Koreas.
Grzegorz, ahead of the visit, Putin said Russia and North Korea would be working together to overcome sanctions from the West. How might they go about doing that?
Well, Russia is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, and in that capacity, Russia has supported implementing sanctions on North Korea over its nuclear and missile programs, particularly between 2006 and 2017. However, Russia has reversed course since then, and particularly after invading Ukraine in 2022. Russia, together with China, have blocked efforts to adopt stricter sanctions over North Korea's ballistic missile tests. And to give you an example, earlier this year, Russia voted against renewing the mandate of a United Nations expert panel, which was charged with monitoring the implementation of already existing sanctions. And on a symbolic level, earlier this year, Putin presented Kim Jong-un with a high-end Russian-made limousine, which experts say is in itself a breach of already existing sanctions, which Russia has once supported. So we expect that Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un will work during this visit on more schemes to enhance trade, military ties, and technology exchange.
James, it's been only 9 months since the last meeting between Putin and Kim. If that alliance is growing stronger, where does that leave China? It's a key partner for both North Korea and Russia and the dominant player in the region.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely no doubt that this alliance between Russia and North Korea is growing ever stronger, and there's deep concern about what that trilateral axis of those three countries you mentioned just there, what them deepening ties across the board means for Western alliances in the region, but also internationally. Ahead of this meeting, we actually had a senior US analyst of the Korean Peninsula writing about this summit, describing this summit as the greatest threat to US national security since the Korean War. The argument he makes there is that Russia is going to be able to support North Korea, as we've been talking about, with its weapons program. But as it relates to China, China has historically sought to rein in some of the more volatile behavior of Pyongyang. Remember, it's not in China's interests to see an escalation in the Korean Peninsula, being a direct neighbor of North Korea. But I think what we're really seeing here, this broader trend and these deepening alliances between these three countries. Remember, Putin was given the red carpet welcome in Beijing not long ago, is really this deepening of ties between three powers which are deeply skeptical of the US-led global order and really want to, I think the concern really in the West being that they could then spread that belief among countries that they influence around the world.
James, Grzegorz, thank you to you both. That was James Chater in Taipei, and there in Riga, Grzegorz Szymanowski.